Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Between Two Brokers.
She's got a pen today.
I got a pen and I got a pad, and that's good because the theme of this episode is P's, all these P words. You know how I like to do all my alliteration when I'm thinking about ideas and themes, but what I wanted to talk to you about was you and I have been interviewing a lot of people recently, and so, you know, I'm having these telephone conversations and in-person interviews with both people who are thinking about getting into the real estate business or people that want to come work for our company. And and even actually some of the women that are, I want to talk about what makes a successful real estate agent. Okay. And I want to talk about what makes people successful entrepreneurs that I've seen. And, you know, the women on our team that I talk to about where they are some of my greatest teachers, because what happens is last year was an incredible year for me, another record year. I know you had a fantastic year. And then it's like you get into January and you're like, oh shit. We make $0 unless we sell a house. Like, why would we get into this business? Every single January, I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, why do you do this to yourself? Like, I'm just like insane. I make no money unless I sell something. So, it's so fun for me to be the broker in charge and to talk to people because I'm telling them what I need to hear myself, you know? So, the things that I want to tell people that you should expect, and I want you to kind of chime in with anything else that you think is helpful. So you have to have patience and persistence, okay? This is for any business. So I don't know if it was a book or my mom or whatever when I was growing up, but my mom's always like 3 to 5 years to build a business. And you hear me say it all the time. Yeah. I'm like 3 to 5 years to build a business. Like, you cannot expect to be crushing it right away. Maybe you're crushing it in sales, but then you have to reinvest that money back into the business. So you have to have patience. I am in it for the long game. Like, I am totally, I have a shit ton of energy, even though it doesn't seem like that. And I plan to, my mom is almost 75 and she still works full time, and I'm sure that I'll be the same exact way. So I don't know if Smith Spencer's going to be around or if I'm going to be selling real estate or what iteration of business I will be in, but I am totally in it for the long game. I'm not looking for ways, moonshots or ways to make $100 million in a year or anything like that. I'm just like,
What's a moonshot?
Shooting for the moon, shooting for the moon schmoop.
Okay.
So, getting like the big sale, like I only want to sell on Kiowa. Okay. But I'm kind of young for Kiowa and I don't want to go hang out at the club there all the time. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is. I mean, I am doing the snowball effect and it's working, and I've already been in business for 18 years and I'll probably be in business for 18 more, but I'm definitely in it for the long game, even though you think I am the hare. I am the tortoise.
Remember when you used to say that you weren't going to live past 54?
Oh, well, that's when I hated my life.
Okay.
I don't hate it anymore. And I'm doing all this stuff. I'm so healthy these days, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to live to be an old bitch. All right. So patience, persistence. That's the other thing. I think the hardest part about being a real estate agent is the inconsistency that you have. So, the last 4 months of last year, I had nothing, nothing going on. And I had so much self-doubt every single day. I was like, what is wrong? What is happening? The market is fantastic. I don't have shit. And then, of course, I just crushed it the last 8 months out of the year. So I think that you have to always go through the motions, always be prospecting. Bring my little baby over here. Come here, little baby. Come here.
Come here. Come to Auntie. Come on.
He's all
right in the microphone. This is my little piece of chorizo. Doesn't he look like a sausage log? Hello. have to say about all the P's of business?
He's,
my God. The piece of business.
the piece of business. He's the little potato. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway,
We can't hear your mom talk.
he just came back from the groomer. It's making him very sleepy. Anyway, all right, we'll throw him.
No.
Babe, get him out. Okay. Anyway, back to business. So, persistence. And I think you have to wake up every single day and like choose to do some kind of work. So whether that's prospecting or working on a marketing plan, that's what I chose to do, was just like focus on marketing. And, babe, just put him in the frog. Focus on marketing or whatever, but you always have to be working on your business or you're going to go completely and totally crazy. And then there are two things that I think real estate can actually cure you of. And that's people pleasing and perfectionism. You had both, didn't you? You were a people pleaser, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And now I don't give a fuck.
All right. And perfectionism. So, and Erin, do you consider yourself to be a perfectionist still,
Yeah.
recovering?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm not in recovery.
You're not?
No.
Okay. Well, anytime that I meet somebody and I can tell that they're perfectionists, like there's a lot of things about the way people look. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I can pick up on. Everybody who's like extremely detailed, they want everything to be just so. Tori, you have a really hard time in real estate because it's just gray area. I mean, that's just where it is. So I want to talk about people pleasing for a second and maybe why you're no longer a people pleaser.
That's a good question. I kind of just thought I grew out of it. Like it was just an age thing, because I know that does happen. Or I can't pinpoint what it was.
Maybe you had an experience where you realized you just couldn't make people happy. I mean, that's what happened for me.
Yeah.
And I started out as a people pleaser.
It just doesn't matter.
Yes. But the thing is that like some people are insatiable. So you like will do everything that they say they want, do more than they tell you that they want, and then they're still pissed off.
Yeah.
That will cure you of being a people pleaser real fast, because you're like, no, this motherfucker's just crazy.
Yep.
Okay. And then you learn to stay away from them. So, being a people pleaser is like you can work with people who appreciate the work that you do and think that you're wonderful. And that should always be the goal. So anytime you have somebody who's just like putting you through the ringer and nothing is good enough and, oh, so-and-so is better and they're making you feel bad, cut the ties. They're not for you. Forget it. And perfectionism. Like, I think that, I don't know that I was ever a perfectionist. I think people think that about me, but I mean, to say that I don't give a fuck and that you don't give a fuck is completely unrealistic. Yeah. I mean, we take our jobs extremely seriously. But I think what my idea of perfect is and what somebody else's idea of perfect is are two different things. I mean, that's something that you've taught me. So, I just like to stay open and collaborate with people. I don't always assume that I'm like the smartest person. So I've actually recently had a experience where I have a client who's much smarter than I am and definitely a perfectionist. And it's so awesome because I feel like it makes me do my job so much better. Mm-hmm. And I'm always asking him questions about, and Tori worked on the deal with me, and I mean, it was a lot of back and forth, and Nick worked on the deal with me, and we had to go back and do things over. However, it worked. Mm-hmm. And the listing is in a development where there have been several other listings, and ours is far above and beyond in terms of activity. Like we're gonna set a record price for the neighborhood. I mean, it was worth all of the upfront work that we had to do in order to make it what this client wanted, which was not her version of perfect or Nick's version of perfect or my version of perfect. It was his. And so, we're going to wind up in a multiple offer situation. And I think that that's what you have to stay open to, is just like, You know, he even asked me, he was like, are you going to be there for every showing? Which you know what my response is about that. And in my opinion, it's the most off-putting thing in the whole entire world to have, like, you're with your client and then there's another agent there and then your client doesn't feel like they can talk. And so I told him that. But before I told him that, I said, look, like, I'm open. If there is a compelling reason, then you can tell me what that is and I'll consider it. But there has to be a compelling reason. And there wasn't. He was just like, oh, no, I was just asking.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was fine. But I think that these are the things that you have to consider when you're evaluating whether you should start a business or you should get into the real estate business. Like, can you realistically be patient? And this is something that you can work on. And I definitely think getting older is better. But like every single agent that we have wants something now. Like right now, they want the business now. And I've just been doing it so long that I'm like over that. But when I don't have business, I am completely freaking out. And that is totally normal.
That's my biggest struggle is patience.
Yeah,
And that's
for sure.
not just business related, everything.
Maybe we should do a podcast episode on patience. We should have some kind of like, you know, professional shrink or something come on and tell us how we can be more patient, or a coach. So yeah, I think that those are just some things to consider when you're in the business. Like, for instance, this podcast is not perfect because there's a dog and a sexy man walking around and interrupting it. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about,
Okay.
just because we've been repeating it so much in our interviews. Thank you so much for tuning into podcast. It's a podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into our podcast. I'm lost. I'm sorry.
Well, we've done 5 recordings back to back. I think we're done.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. We're probably going to toss this one. Bye.